An outgoing San Francisco Bay Area Rapid Transit. It's their metro, right? It's their mass transit. Their director gave a parting gift to her colleagues, fellow San Francisco progressive individuals. Gave them MAGA hats. Remember when Juicy Smollett said, yeah, two guys accosted me and they were wearing MAGA hats, and it was in downtown Chicago? Well, this happened in San Francisco, and she literally gave out MAGA hats. Why did she do that? She had a point, and I totally agree with her. Let's get into it. Here we go. Watch the video and see how this goes down. It's pretty fun.
What do you buy San Francisco Democrat politicians that seem to have everything they need? Well, it took a while, but I think I came up with something that you all might need over the next 4 years. You might not, but just in case, if things don't go well in 2026 on the ballot initiative to get taxpayers to fill those $350 million of annual deficits. I know you all don't think you'll need this, but I bought you each one of these.
Oh!
See it from out there, but
Could you imagine the libtards when they see the hat come out? What? Now, this is one of the dark MAGA ones. This dark MAGA, that's Elon Musk right there, right? Make America great again. Now, they would have really flipped out if it was the red ones, right? This is San Francisco. These people, they're just going to lose their mind. Oh, you've brought Satan into our town's hall.
the dark MAGA hat. And just in case, when you're walking the halls of Congress, I have one here for each of you, and I'll hand them out with a personal letter to each of you that is personal to each of you. I won't read those, but hopefully you'll take it in jest and know that I know you all are all not, that none of you are MAGA supporters, but that you may want to have some fun with this. Thank you.
Oh, we just missed it. We just missed it. This one woman. Let me go back just a couple of seconds here. You'll hear it.
Jesus, wow.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Vice President Foley. I'm sorry.
She doesn't give a rat's ass. She's done. If you're enjoying this content, love to have you check out reasonabletv.com. Yes, we've got private member content there, but we've also got all the episodes you'll normally find on our YouTube channel. And in addition, the member content, we've got a good one. You guys have been talking about this one. This is a Veterans Administration scandal. We got one guy who goes on at the VA office and starts bragging about how he's had sex with 32 of his coworkers in this communication, this governmental communication. And then they go on to talk about and also brag about a 12-person orgy. You got some crazy, crazy stuff going on in the VA, particularly this office. You're going to want to check out that story. $3.99 a month, 14-day free trial. If you want to go longer than that, got a year subscription. It's going to cost $39.99. Thanks in advance. I'll see you there. What do you get for Democrat, progressives that, maybe not even progressives, just regular Democrats that have everything that they need? This is San Francisco, well off. And, but hey, they've got a big budget deficit. And, yeah, who's going to be running the federal government? Oh, Trump. Yeah, Trump. So she is literally giving them MAGA hats because she is taunting them and saying, hey, that big deficit you got going on where you're probably going to have to reach out to the federal government for a little bit of funding. Yeah, guess what? Wear that MAGA hat because, Daddy Trump, he might be able to help you out. Literally what she's doing. Now, the silence was deafening. I mean, you literally heard one person say, Jesus Christ. And you're like, hey, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. But these people take it so personally. It's like, he's wearing a MAGA hat in downtown Chicago. It's like, no, they're not. You made up that whole damn thing and then you got off on a technicality, Juicy. Outgoing BART report director known for conservative stances in San Francisco. Intense standoffs with their Democratic colleagues. Handed each of them a parting gift parting shot of a gift. The last meeting of her term, MAGA hats. Director Deborah Allen, who decided not to run for re-election, put the hats in gift bags that she passed out during a board meeting Thursday, which also included a letter to each board member. I bet you they immediately put all of that in the garbage. Boop, done. The meeting opened with speeches by deporting BART members Bevan Dulte, Rebecca Saltzman, who won a seat in the El Cerrito City Council, and Latifah Simon, who will succeed Barbara Lee in Congress. Allen told the Chronicle that she had been asked to give remarks. She spoke out after Dulte appeared to pass over her and gave the floor to Mark Foley, who was not leaving the board. I did have some parting comments. Notice she said parting comments. That's funny. Did have some parting comments. I got a parting shot for you here. Did you want me to give them now? She asked Duty. He agreed and allowed her to speak. So she goes on to say, she went on to discuss the agency's financial crises, which grew dire as Bay Area residents continued working from home. So in San Francisco, you've got, I watched a video earlier today, and it's the old Westfield Mall, which is now San Francisco Center. And the mall is literally like during normal business hours, there is nobody there because outside you've got just a whole bunch of drug addicts running around doing their thing. And nobody's in the downtown core. So you've got a couple of different things working against San Francisco, and particularly BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit. You don't have anybody riding it. You got nobody riding it. You got nobody downtown. You got nobody riding it, and nobody wants to go into downtown San Francisco because, it sucks. It has sucked over the years. And now you've got so many folks that are, working remotely. Because the kind of jobs you've got in San Francisco, so many of them, like Seattle, you can work remotely. So Allen criticized the agency for increasing spending on operations and hoping for a bailout from taxpayers. Additionally, Allen touted her work to boost financial transparency and public safety on BART. She was one of the holdouts on this whole deal. You got just a bunch of nut jobs. I shouldn't say nut jobs. You got people who, think that you can go down the same avenue time after time after time, and eventually it's going to work one day, which is, hey, if we just give these people housing, hey, if we just give these people the support that they need, homeless people, they'll just go away. They'll just scurry off. No, it's not going to work. And you've got a whole bunch of homeless people on drugs, committing crimes, riding BART around. So, multiple factors going on that are impacting BART and impacting its ability to cover its budget. So you've got an upside down budget. So she is literally saying, hey, you're going to need to work with the feds down the road. You're going to need to ask for some federal money here more than likely. So why don't you get used to the idea that, Trump's your daddy and you're just going to have to ask. Please, oh please, can we have some money? Can we have some money when we go out on Friday night? With all that, I wanted to depart by giving you a gift to my colleagues. What do you buy? It took a while, but I think I came up with something. I know you all don't think you need this, but I bought each one of you one of these Make America Great Again slogan hats. That is just funny. Others, directors, look down at their laps. One said the JC word. Someone mumbled into a microphone. People were just shocked. They were like, oh. What you doing? What? The one woman the woman sitting by her reached out her hand, then she touched it and she kind of grabbed back and then she grabbed it. It's like, it's not going to bite you. It's a MAGA hat. I don't have a MAGA hat, but I'd probably wear one of those dark ones. I mean, I think that's kind of cool. I like the dark ones. Dark MAGA. So funny. People get so triggered by MAGA, don't they? They get so triggered by Trump. It's just like, he's racist, he's xenophobic, he's homophobic, just all this just nonsense. And you're like, okay, he's your president, so suck it up, sunshine. Get used to it. Yep, get used to it. In an interview on Friday, Allen said that the MAGA hat party was partly a joke, though it also carried a message. The continued funding from both the federal government of Bay Area transit projects must involve engaging both parties. Huh. So you're saying it's a bipartisan deal. Both parties are going to have to agree on Bay Area rapid transit issues and funding? I have to think about that for a while. I got to think about. I mean, it's so true. But folks in San Francisco, just like folks here in Seattle, just like folks in Portland, you don't get that other side. Very rarely do you get that other side. People here live in a bubble. They live in just this head-spun bubble where they think that, the whole rest of the country, is just head up their ass and they don't know what they're doing. That's literally how it's like living here in Seattle. I live in Bellevue, so it's downplayed a little bit, but because a lot of the folks that live in Bellevue now, they're not, they've come from another country. They've relocated here for work. So they don't have as much invested in, the progressive politics of Seattle like some of the other folks do, the real Seattleites. So she recalled traveling to Washington, D.C. with the delegation from BART under the first Trump administration. At that time, Allen said that she raised concerns that BART officials were only lobbying Democratic legislatures. That's what they were probably doing, right? Because it's like, let's just go talk to our kind. Because those other people, those MAGA people wearing their MAGA hats, don't want to deal with them. A registered Republican when she was first elected in 2016 to represent Central Contra Costa County, Allen switched to no party preference in 2019. On the BART board, however, she established herself as a fiscal conservative who pushed back against labor unions while also tackling right on social issues. Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. I mean, somebody's got to do it, right? Just literally, you live in these socialist utopias like Seattle, and so much emphasis is on, these progressive policies, progressive ideals, going down these progressive roads. Even recently, our mayor, who tries to walk both lines. He tries to be tough on crime, but then he just goes off on LGBTQ stuff. The vast majority of us just don't care about. It's not really a thing. It's like the whole abortion thing. It's important, but it's not something you think about every single day. You know what I mean? Gas prices. Think about that. Food prices, rent prices, inflation, job growth. Those are kinds of some of the things that people think about because that impacts them on the daily. But here in Seattle, you got just a whole bunch of nut jobs that don't have anything else going on. And they focus on these things and they create this kind of vortex of thought where everybody else here says, oh, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And they all think alike. And then, when the election comes around, their head is just literally, they're having a tough time holding things together to the point where one of them literally took an ice axe and murdered her father because he didn't want to turn the lights out. True story. That was on election night. Just had enough. She cracked because her little bubble was so burst from the standpoint of everybody told us, voting population in general. It's going to be a super close race. It's going to be so tight. It's going to be so close. Kamala's up by 3 points, in Iowa. Oh, yeah. None of that really turned out to be true. Now you're seeing the numbers for mainstream media just absolutely drop off a cliff. CNN, MSNBC, all their numbers. I don't know if you've looked into those stories at all, but man, they are absolutely having a difficult time. Let's put it that way, right? After the murder in George Floyd in 2020, Allen made public remarks that appeared to downplay the killing of Oscar Grant by a BART police officer in 2009. Grant's family calling her to step down. Everything in Seattle, everything in Portland, everything in San Francisco always has to come from this crazy critical, was it racism? Was it racism? Oh, and we hate cops. You got so much of that, especially with all the public transit stuff. So when Allen passed out her gifts during Thursday's meeting, the board chamber was packed. Among the audience were progressive groups calling for stronger protection against sexual assaults and harassment on BART and championing BART's efforts to rename the Lake Merritt station for Oakland Chinatown a symbolic act of racial reparation. Okay. Yeah, that and a MAGA hat will get you a little discussion on, hey, we're going to get any of that Fed money? Going to get any of that hard Fed money? As Allen spoke, the mood in the room changed. You could hear it just go silent. People are like, MAGA hats. I bet you half those hats got tossed in the garbage before people even went home. These people aren't taking a MAGA hat home. And that's a shame. Because, those dark ones, those are pretty cool. The mood in the room changed. She characterized Allen as a divisive public official who had long been isolated from colleagues because she didn't have any. Doesn't have any. She's a conservative in San Fran. How's San Fran doing? Yeah, not that great. Dufty described feeling bewildered when Allen displayed a MAGA hat at the Days. He said he reached for Simon's hand. I just needed to center myself, he said. I asked Latifah if I could hold her hand for a minute or two. He paused a beat. I'm okay now. If somebody giving you a hat is knocking your center off, then you really need to check your mental stability because you are not a mentally stable individual. Somebody gives me a Black Lives Matter t-shirt, I'm going to take it and probably toss it in the garbage, but I'm not going to think anything about it, much later than that. Give me a Black Lives Matter hat. I'm just going hey, thanks. No, thanks. Toss it in the garbage. And then I'm going to move on with my day. But what I don't do is, can I hold your hand? Can I hold your hand? Can you give me a back rub? I'm feeling really emotionally unstable at the moment because of those MAGA hats over there. And not the red ones, the dark ones. They brought in dark ones. Oh, this is terrible. It's okay. I'm getting a hold of myself. Let's breathe in, breathe out. What? You move on. Somebody gives you something you don't like. You say, okay, hey, that's funny. That's cute. I thought this was pretty funny from the standpoint of it really brings into focus. If you're a big municipality and you've got some issues with your funding, and if you're going to be needing federal funding, who's the president going to be? Yeah. So in kind of a backhanded sort of way, she's saying, hey, I'm not going to be here anymore. But, somebody else who I politically identify with is, and you might want to wear one of his hats. Yeah, MAGA hat in San Francisco. It's just as likely as a MAGA hat in Chicago, right? Juicy Smollett. That's it for me on this one. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.